Hello everyone, my name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and welcome back to Echo! On the last episode, we saw the Leo update. Now we're going to see what got updated for Flynn. Oh god, I don't remember Daxton's voice, so... fuck. I know that the fucking music is getting weird, and there's a fuck ton of noise in the background, but it's just gonna happen.
Lucky I don't have classes on Friday.
Alright, if you remember, we saw a text on Flynn's phone saying that he's going to be out near the casino or whatever the fuck, out near the fucking reservation. So let's see what happens here. I squint trying to peer beyond what is illuminated by my headlights. Driving feels difficult right now. My nerves are kind of fried, tingling beneath my fur. I end up overcorrecting on every slight turn. It doesn't help that this shitty state highway is so meandering and completely devoid of light. Out here, even the main stretches of road sidewind around the hills and mountains. I guess I'm used to Pueblo, where they just flatten or tunnel through everything. My issues right now also might be stemming from the fact that I'm still a little inebriated. Fuck, I used to be so damn hard on Leo whenever he drank and drive, now here I am. Maybe I should have brought my meds. Veer right in 1 mile.
Chase?
I loosen my grip on the wheel some, peering in the rearview mirror and catching a glint of Carl's green eyes looking back at me.
This feels familiar, don't it?
I furrow my brow, I'm not sure what he means.
We were both just starting high school.
Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Carl didn't respond, and silence follows. He stares out his window and his gaze lulled. His phone sitting idle in his lap. Daxton's looking curiously at us now, though when neither of us speaks up, he goes back to fidgeting with his buttons on his shirt.
I feel kind of like I'm sneaking out to go to a party or something.
He looks over at me with a slight smile. Well, we might be? Hey, you know that might be a reference to Route 65. Now that I'm starting to realize it. That might be what that was a reference to. A little slight reference there. That could have been cool. That might have been it. I don't fucking...
We're gonna arrive at this address and find Flynn in a gimp suit surrounded by a warehouse full of rubber ducks, sorry.
Carl lets out a quiet rumble of a snicker.
Yeah, man, this is all real familiar.
I mean, he fucking made that same joke with Leo at the fucking building. Man. We pass the flat concrete pad where an old gas station once stood. Again, I think Carl's about to speak, but he says nothing. That is where Route 65 fucking happened, I think. I mean, it kind of looked like a gas station, but I don't know.
I don't get out much, you know.
Around here, there's not much to get out to. The salamander rolls his shoulders, then shakes his head.
I can always drive to Peyton. I've got my scooter. Doesn't feel worth it, you know? I mean, not just gas or monetary reasons. It just isn't comfortable to be away from home. I've got basically everything I need. And I've got that Prime delivery account that drops off groceries on my doorstep. It's weird how easy it is to feel like that's normal. I surround myself with TV, books, and video games, and the fact that I'm alone in the middle of the desert doesn't even affect me.
Oh my god, my fucking lungs! You got Flynn for company, don't you?
We keep to our separate sides of the house, usually. Sometimes almost a whole week goes by without me actually seeing him.
There's always the internet, dude. You've got online friends and all that stuff for gaming, right?
Daxton adjusts his seat, giving himself some more leg room.
I post on a fan forum pretty regularly. I'm a moderator. Well, I'm a moderator!
Let me guess, for,
Adastra, yep.
Give me your phone.
Daxton blinks.
What?
Carl makes a grabby motion with his paw towards Daxton.
Just give me it for 1 second.
Daxton clutches his cell to his chest, looking uneasily towards the drunken ram.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna go through your messages or nudie pics. Who do you think I am, Chase?
That one stings a bit. Ass! Daxton slowly relents, keeping close eye on Carl as he gives him his phone. He taps at it in silence for about 15 seconds before passing it back.
There, you got me in your contacts. I also put my username for games and stuff if you ever want to play together on PC.
Oh, thanks.
The salamander quickly checks the screen before looking back to Carl.
I'll send you a message or something when I get home if you ever want a game or if I need to hook up with some ice cream.
Carl makes a flubbering noise with his mouth.
Ice cream boy at your service, dude man. Service.
Daxton titters some, shaking his head.
Just kidding with the last part. I would never do that. I mean, you must get sick of hearing that all the time.
Carl shakes his head even after he begins speaking.
Nah, I don't like tell people that shit very often because it's awk, you know. No, I'll totally hook you up. I used to do that for Flynn and Leo, but then Flynn went on this whole health food bullshit. And Leo, I don't know, he stopped asking.
We're right.
My arms stiffen as I swerve onto the off-ramp with more gusto than I intended. I feel the other's eyes on me and I try to act casual. Looks like this is it up ahead.
Kinda out in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? This isn't the reservation yet, right?
I look towards the horizon. I can just make out the familiar glint of the Blue Diamond Casino past one of the rolling hills. Everything out here is in the middle of nowhere, but no, the reservation's on the other side of the casino.
Do you guys ever go there?
No, I'm not much for gambling.
I bet gun skins on ranked matches online sometimes. The place is mainly for really old people packed in their RVs. Flynn and I were talking about it the other day. Like, they point at ceilings all blue sky colored. They paint the ceilings all blue sky colored, don't display any clocks, and simulate sunlight inside. Trick the seniors into staying longer.
That's messed.
I imagine messed up.
Capitalism at its finest, dude man.
Is that my nickname now?
What?
Dude man?
It sounds like Daxton.
Most people default to Dax.
Your destination is ahead in 400 yards. Carl seems like he's about to say something, but quiet as we all see our destination.
Oh, jeez.
I turn off the road, and the loosely packed gravel seeming to scatter under my tires. Oh, Jesus. We're here. Yeah, this doesn't look fucking shady at all. It's a long red building. The exterior is mostly dilapidated, the wood siding falling apart in places. I can see only two windows, both of which have colored construction paper blocking the view inside. There's no signage indicating what the hell the name of this place even is. At least none right now. It looks like there's some broken neon lettering on the roof's edge, but I can't make out anything legible from it. There's about half dozen cars parked behind the building. Flynn's truck is the only one out front.
He's here for sure.
The salamander reaches into his pocket, and then to my surprise pulls out Flynn's phone. When did you grab that? Daxton cocks his head at me, holding up the phone.
Right after we looked at it.
I rub my forehead. Were Daxton and Carl really inside the house with me earlier, or I just didn't notice them?
You okay, Chase? Nervous about talking to Flynn?
Just pretend he's in his underwear. Then intimidate him with your erection until he's no longer mad at us for stalking him.
The ram nods sagely, giving me a bit of a serene look. I stare back at him.
That's how the gays work. I read it on the blog site.
He holds up his phone.
That one with all the gays.
I feel myself smirking a little. I'm fine, guys. I just had a weird nap earlier. Still getting my brain unfuzzed.
Cool, but,
Carl looks back towards the building.
I'm still gonna chill here in the car.
He clears his throat, sitting up more upright.
Tactical sport.
Quiet. Daxton covers his face with his dark hands.
Cadet Hunter and Lieutenant, Daxton, prepare to beam out.
Thanks, Captain Carl. Make sure to scan for life signs and report any anomalies.
Oh, God.
Daxton exits the car in embarrassment.
Oh no, man, Lieutenant Daxton beamed out too early. His particles are destabilizing.
Jesus, I hear enough of this stuff moderating the roleplay subform. I don't need to hear it IRL.
He walks up to one of the front windows, seemingly trying to peer inside through one of the gaps in the construction paper. I open the door, about to head out when I feel Carl's paw on my shoulder.
Hey, man.
I blink some, looking back at him. The parking lot light overhead gives his fur a sort of orangey appearance, and his eyes look blue.
You've been, like, really quiet tonight. I know I haven't been around you in 2 years, but you're still acting, I don't know, weird from what I remember.
Carl,
Just don't worry, okay?
he looks to the building.
You know how he gets, but overall, Flynn's cool.
Yeah, you're gonna hear the dog. It's because he's being an annoying cunt! He leans back in his seat, pulling up his phone. The illuminating blue glow of the screen replaces the faint orange of the streetlight.
Just don't tell him I said that.
I exhale, smiling despite myself. Alright, Carl. I turn around, pausing. I know you have your interview, but we should talk later. Catch up properly.
You know, man.
And I'm glad you're getting on well with Daxton, truly. I see him grinning in the rearview mirror.
It's weird. He's like someone I'd meet online, but like in real life, you know.
I'm not sure I follow.
Don't worry about it. Don't get murdered in there.
I snirk dryly. I'll try not to. I step out and nearly close the door on my tail. I must have been more distracted than I thought. Seeing Daxton against the side of the building, I can't help but think that he looks downright serene. Or downright eerie, I say. He doesn't have scales like Flynn, so he's just this rubbery black color that blends into the shadows, as specious as that sounds. When he turns towards me, his eyes stick out like headlights in the night.
Hey, James, check this out.
He beckons me over towards a small metal sheet by the door. I step closer. Some words are engraved in the front.
So you've heard of us.
A winking smiley face is pictured below the text. The hell?
I know, right?
He moves towards the door, his thick tail flicking in an anticipatory sway behind him. I'm surprised he can control that thing.
Watch it be locked.
Might as well try. After you, Lieutenant.
Don't start.
He grasps the handle and the door opens with ease. Daxton looks over at me once more and we step inside. The smell of decades worth of cigarette smoke and dust hits my nose instantly. Daxton coughs, trying to muffle himself as we see the shadows of various patrons throughout the dimly lit bar. Everything near the counter is illuminated up with sort of green tinge, while the rest of the establishment has red lighting. Well, in the places it does have lighting. I've never been inside a restaurant or bar this dark before. The walls are mainly decorated with faded 1950s beer adverts, and a mounted CRT monitor near the entrance looks to be streaming an old cricket match. I don't see any bartenders or waiters. Nobody is behind the bar. Huh. Daxton half speaks, half whispers. Maybe we should take a seat so it doesn't look like we're gawking?
Yeah, good idea.
We move towards the closest table to the entrance. The location leaves us completely enshrouded in darkness. There's a lamp above us, but it looks broken. The copper wiring hanging out where the bulb is supposed to go.
I haven't seen Flynn yet, have you? It's hard to see in here.
I sort of assumed salamanders had better night vision. No, not yet. Squinting, I try to get my eyes to adjust to the darkness. Two large figures get up from their bar stools and head towards the pool table, each grabbing a cue. They both appear to be equine, middle-aged and male, decked out in polo shirts and slacks. The two wouldn't look out of place in a country club greenway, but here they stand out something fierce. I imagine this is like some sort of secret gay bar. And it also looks to be in the old building. If you remember from Route 65, there was like Brian and something's Booze Bastion or whatever. I don't remember the second name, but I remember it being mentioned for a specific reason, and I feel like this might be that reason. I realize there is a much smaller person behind them, a fennec girl with big lengthy head fur that goes down to her shoulders. Maybe not, I guess. One of them, the one in the teal polo with a beer gut, sets out a rack of pool balls on the table. The other horse with a red polo and graying muzzle first speaks up, shaking his head and pointing towards the balls in the triangle. I can't make out everything, but it sounds like he's insisting that the 8-ball always goes on top. The teal-shirted one lets out a dismissive noise, making a point of placing the 8-ball somewhere in the center of the rack. Hello, strawberry milk. I feel my phone buzz in my pocket. Quickly reaching down, I check the message. It's from Leo.
We're all gonna hang out at the park tomorrow at 2. Would be good if you came.
I sigh. That same swelling of guilt takes hold of my chest like stones in my ribcage. More text from the evil ex. I glance up at Daxton in surprise, the salamander having turned to face me. Again, I'm wrought with how fucking eerie his bright eyes sticking out of the blackness and staring right at me is. He's not evil. You folk all get super antsy every time he texts you, like, an ex is just that, an ex. You don't gotta worry about them anymore. Daxton crosses his forearms and rests them on the table for a moment before hastily pulling them back. He grimaces, wiping his arms on the fabric of the shirt. Looking down, I can see that there's been a while since the surface table has been properly wiped down. There's no napkins in sight either. I peer at the message again, trying to think of what to say in response. Well, the circumstances are kind of different here. He's been one of my closest friends since I was really young, and when I left town for college, we never actually broke up.
Oh.
The skin on his face pulls tighter, though I can't make out what expression he's making.
So he's not actually your ex, then?
We haven't been together in 3 years. Hell, before this trip, I hadn't even spoken to him in at least 12 months. It's not exactly true at all now, is it? The heavy feeling in my chest grows stronger. Look, I don't have time to go over the past 15 years of our relationship. He holds up his flat, rubbery palms.
Sorry, just trying to get to know you and all.
Turns back around. Smooth chase. I type back my reply to Leo. I'll be there. The sound of bellied laughter from the pool table catches my attention. The red poloed equine slaps the back of the smaller fennec, who looks to have just made a pretty nice shot. Her head fur flutters in front of her face and then slips right off, falling onto the pool table. A wig. I realize now that the fennec isn't actually a girl at all, at least not physically. Daxton saw it as well, and we both exchange a brief glance. The two men don't seem to pay much mind outside of a brief chuckle. Behind them, a red light flicks on, and another group becomes visible at the table to the rear. There's a 30-something German shepherd with a pompadour cut head fur and a black muscle shirt stretched taut over his large chest. He's watching the billiards game intently. His arm is around the back of the seat next to him, and that's when I see Flynn staring right at me. Fuck. God, how long has he been there? Could he see us the whole time? Daxton sees him too, the salamander forcing a toothy smile and waving at his roommate from across the bar. Flynn doesn't wave back. He just keeps staring. The seconds pass and nothing happens. We just sit here, and he sits there, and neither of us moves. Eventually, Daxton pushes himself up to his feet and I reluctantly follow suit. Everything goes quiet as we make our way to the other table. I feel a tingling sensation around my whiskers, and that all goes all the way back to my spine. I don't belong here. I can't tell if the pool table group is looking at me, but it feels like they are. Well, holy shit, would you look at that? An otter in my water. What? The German shepherd speaks up with an accent that sounds more West Coast than Southwestern. Damn it! West Coast. Why? I don't know what a West Coast I don't think I can do a West Coast accent. He drops his arm from Flynn's chair, beaming at me with his bright blue eyes. The canine turns his attention towards Daxton, eyeing him over. The salamander has his hands folded together, smiling nervously. And Daxton! Daxton blinks.
Evening? Have we met?
The man chuckles. Nah, but I seen you before whenever I come over to Scanley Boy's house here. You're always in your room all alone like. Oh, there he is. Flynn's slitted gaze flicks from Daxton to me. His expression seems to harden before my eyes.
What the fuck are you doing here?
His scaled fingers curl into a fist briefly before unfurling, the large lizard fidgeting again in his seat. Okay, play cool, Chase. Found your phone with the invite to this place? It was all propped up and everything. I say that last part with a bit of an accusing tone. Flynn narrows his eyes slightly. Invite? You didn't tell me you were bringing some friends. That's a first. The shepherd grins again, tension so thick that you could cut it with a knife. Doesn't seem to dissuade his cheery demeanor.
I didn't.
He makes an acknowledging grunt, his gaze flicking between us for a moment. Well, I'm Ryan. You know Flynn, and I know Daxton, so who are you? He looks at me expectant. Before I can speak, Flynn does.
Chase.
His tone is terse, bordering on an outright warning. Chase, fucking otters are cute as hell, like you got wee stubby fingers, plus you're all squeaky and shit. I blanch, not sure whether to be flattered or offended. I look down at my fingers. Ryan just grins, the red light glistening upon the enamel of his fangs. Thank you, see you two. Good to see Scanley Boy actually has friends. Daxton looks down at one of the red fabric chairs with a wary demeanor.
Well, as long as they're not too sticky.
This elicits a throaty crackling cackle from the dog. It's part of the charm. Oh, much like yours? Oh, fuck me, man. Good one. I take a seat across from Flynn, who is now staring at a wall. Glancing over, I noticed that Daxton had been standing with his hands folded behind his back, his posture completely vertical, just like Captain Amicus does in Adastra. Salamander scoots past and takes a seat beside me. He fishes out Flynn's phone from his pocket and slides it over to him across the table. Flynn looks at it for a good 3 seconds before snatching it and shoving it back into his pocket. You're welcome.
I didn't ask for this.
Daxton just shrugs indifferently. Flynn looks at me again, his expression less intense, but still a frown. Ha! Quiet yet shrill-toned voice peeps up from behind us. Turning, I see it's the gender-ambiguous fennec fox from earlier. They quickly walk past us, tugging lightly on Ryan's shirt. They mumble something I can't quite make out, and Ryan practically coos back at the little fennec. He reaches up, squeezing their waist, and they make a little erp noise. Ryan pulls out his wallet, withdrawing a few bills, and hands them to the fox. The middle-aged man-horse duo walks up as well, cues and grasp. The one at the red polo bumps into the fennec, resting a hand on their shoulder. They flinch initially before a sheepish smile forms upon their lips. The fennec spins around clumsily, nearly toppling over on into the table. The older male catches them and keeps them in place.
He's not that cute.
They wrap their arms around the equine's girthy midsection, their paws gingerly patting at his back pockets.
Oh, you want some money for something from the bar, sweetheart? Don't know where the tender's gone and ran off to.
The red polo fetches a $20 bill for the fox, placing it in the little one's maw. They're treating them like a youngling, but the fox looks to be at least 30 years old from the sagging of their face and splotchy fur.
Of fucking course, Casey's doing that bidden war bullshit again.
Flynn takes a swig of his booze. The older men stare at him, suddenly looking a bit uneasy. Red Polo turns, trying to usher Casey away from, towards the main counter. However, the fox seems to resist. They squirm, quickly writhing out of the equine's grasp and stumbling their way over to Flynn, nearly crawling on top of Ryan to do so. Everyone seems to freeze in place as the fox pushes her muzzle up close to Flynn's. Flynn looks dull-eyed back at the fennec.
I don't got any money for you.
It's okay, I just want to make you less grumpy.
They look at each other, saying nothing. Flynn's parts his lips slightly, and the fox pushes their face against his, maws meeting in a deep kiss. His eyes go wide for a moment, then shut tight, returning the affection just the same. My. My heart feels like it stops, and my sweat goes cold. I feel sick, like I want to puke or something. I mean, I had felt a sort of deep gnawing feeling since I saw Ryan's arm around Flynn, but I guess I wasn't prepared for something so visceral. But I don't do anything, I just sit there and watch. Ryan, meanwhile, grasps the fox's rear, grinning in that Cheshire way he does. Good to see you're not sourpussing the whole night, Flynn.
Oh, you kidding me right now? Fuck the whole whore.
Red Polo turns, leaving his friend behind and making his way towards the exit with a few huffed swears. The teal-poloed male, who is some sort of Shire Clydesdale type, watches him leave, but doesn't follow.
Says a married man.
Casey pulls back from Flynn, a string of saliva still hanging from their lips. Flynn's nostrils flare as he exhales upon the fox's face. This seems to set Casey off, and they kiss him again with even more ferocity. Naxton's looking at me now, his eyes wide. Salamander silently mouths a, "What the fuck?" I don't even have the capacity within me to respond with anything other than a curt nod. Putting on a show for the new friends? Teal Polo is looking down at Daxton and I now.
Well, noting the festivities, you young'uns want a drink or something? I'm Mike.
Oh, now we're good.
I'll have 2 doubles of whatever tequila's the cheapest. Mike blinks.
I'll be right back then, kid. Let me find the bartender.
Rob's back in the smoke room, Seabiscuit. He uses his free hand, the one not currently groping fox ass, and points towards a wooden door in the corner of the room by a potted plastic saguaro. The smoke room? Mike gives Ryan an uneasy look. I get the impression from his demeanor that the casino wristband he's wearing that he isn't a local.
Well, I'm gonna be right back then.
He forces a smile before turning and heading towards the aforementioned smoke room. Ryan crosses his legs, letting his head roll from side to side before speaking up. I think we should head there too, right, Flynn? Flynn and the Fennec part lips again. The Gila looks at me before responding. Alright.
Man, what's wrong with you?
All eyes shift to Daxton now. Flynn grunts.
You don't get to fucking judge, creep ass, watching me jerk off at night, but can't stand the sight of me macking on someone, for fuck's sake.
The chubby-faced salamander's jaw goes slack. Oh, you been busted, Daxton. Watching and not helping out's a real grave offense.
What the hell are you even talking about?
Daxton looks at me. I say nothing, thinning my lips.
You know what I'm talking about.
I truly don't.
Hey, let's not play he said, she said. Daxton Chase, you like to party? The dog reaches into his pocket. The Fennec turns from Flynn, biting their lip as they begin to lean on Ryan's shoulder. They wiggle their hips in such a manner that Flynn gets a face full of fuzz, the Gila sputtering a bit. I'm reminded of long bus rides home with Jenna and Flynn back in junior high. Not that Jenna acted like anything remotely like Casey, though. Flynn would just be the aggressor pulling on her fur and making native jokes until Jenna would donk him right in the nose with a biology textbook. Ryan withdraws a small plastic baggie with about 6 tiny white spheroid dots inside. They kind of look like that expensive Pebble ice cream that they sell in the theme parks. I had always wished Carl's parents would start selling that stuff, but they said it was just a gimmick and that it didn't make the ice cream taste better. He opens a little baggie, placing one of the pebbles on the eager Fennec's tongue, then his own. The German Shepherd rises to his feet. He's large, about as tall as Leo. He extends out the baggie to Daxton and I. Before we can respond, Flynn interjects, swiping the baggie and closing it before handing it back to Ryan.
Yeah, nah, fucker.
You deciding for him? Bit rude, my man. This shit ain't addicting unless you've been depressed or something.
Daxton's got a heart condition, and I'm fucking pretty sure Chase got drug tests for summer internships to worry about.
Daxton crosses his arms over his chest. Yeah, I'm good. Candy from strangers and that whole business, too. Speaking of, Mike comes out from the corner door with 2 drinks in his grasp. He has a sort of blank expression as he sets them down in front of me. Yeah, fun back there? Ryan quickly deposits the baggie back into his trousers, pushing his chair in. Flynn stands up as well.
Didn't have time for fun. Had to tend to Kid Boozy here.
Kid Boozy? That sounds like one of them urban rap types. You spit rhymes, Chase? Ryan chuckles, and I look down at myself, then back up.
Fuck, no he doesn't. I've seen Chase do cowboy poetry in high school. In school. Not a pretty sight.
He looks at me, seemingly uncaring of the fact that Casey is now all up on Ryan and not him.
I remember you and Carl got up and did yours about alien abductions and anal probes in the desert, and the principal got so pissed.
I let out a small huff as the memory comes back to me. I'm surprised he remembers that. Yeah, didn't start off that way, but UFO rhymed with lasso, and it was all downhill from there. Anal probes, huh? Ryan grins, reaching over and slugging my shoulder. His angle's off, and now it's more like a tap than a punch. Daxton lets out a slightly exasperated noise. That was your takeaway from that conversation? You sound like you got a probe or two up yours, Daxton. Or lack thereof. Daxton closes his eyes and rubs the flat of his nose, still looking a bit flustered from Flynn's accusation earlier. I clear my throat, speaking up towards the towering equine behind me. But, thank you, sir. I give the large horse a nod of appreciation before taking a hearty glug of one of the glasses. You don't know that shit ain't got something in it, man. Haven't you not learned from Bill Cosby? Motherfucker, don't take a drink you did not see get poured and having had constant eye contact the whole night, especially in a shady motherfucking place like this. Oh my god, this fucking burns. My muzzle pulls into a grimace as I try to swallow as much as I can. Eyeing the glass, I only got a fourth of the way down the double. Guess I'm the designated driver now. Ryan thumbs back towards the door of the aforementioned smoke room. Hey, y'all want to join?
We're good, Ryan.
Flynn basically pushes Ryan's back, shuffling the seemingly attached Casey along with. A long silence follows, and the three of us watch them until they disappear behind a faded wooden door. I let out a long exhale, then place my face in my paws. I don't know what he meant when he said I watched him jerk off. What the hell's he talking about? I can hear the creaking of the seat across from me. Mike must be sitting down with us.
I would take it as the highest compliment if someone was watching me beat off.
I'm never leaving my room again.
I'm assuming you young'uns are also new to this dusky establishment, is that right?
Mine speaks in a sort of southern drawl cadence that's more bayou than prairie.
And if you ain't gonna drink that, kid, I'll gladly finish it for you.
I uncover my eyes, slowly reaching for the glass of auburn liquid and bringing it again to my lips. The second time doesn't hurt as much, and I manage to swallow another fourth without any tears. Yeah, this is my first time for me. How'd you find out about this place? He crosses his arms, leaning back in his seat. The chair creaks in audible protest to his weight.
I was about to ask the same thing you. Was wondering what cute pups like you two would be doing in a place like this. I got a couple of meetings down at Peyton, so I stopped by the casino for a few hours with the one-armed bandit. So I have one of them sex applications you download on your cell phones, right?
Downloaded that all by yourself, did you? Daxton comments dryly.
Well, can't exactly get my nephew to help me with that one now, can I?
You could, it would just be very awkward, much like this whole night. Daxton's staring at me with a wood grain of the table. Daxton's staring at the wood grain of the table, tracing it with his finger.
Bit rough, yeah. Well, anyway, I was on this sex application, and this feller starts chatting me up. The huffy one I was just with. He was also staying at the casino. He suggested we came down here for some fun, so I followed suit. Place was packed with Fennec folk earlier. They all went back there, though.
He points towards the corner door. So this place is for gay guys, right?
That's most probably the case. That okay with you?
A slight smile curls up on the edge of Mike's maw, and Daxton is wrought with a brief stutter. I don't give a care, you know? You do you, I'll do me.
Maybe I'll do you too,
Oh my god! Daxton looks like he's been slapped, his tail coiling inward. Mike just chuckles in a bassy rumble.
Oh boy, that straightened your curls, didn't it? Did you download that all by yourself? Ah, you sassy little shit.
My phone vibrates. Is that a hail from Tactical? Daxton says this as if it was physically painful for him to utter those words. Mike's expression shifts and he looks curiously at the salamander. Check my phone, it's from Flynn.
Come to the smoke room alone.
The empty feeling that had taken hold of me seems to alleviate some and is quickly replaced by a whole new sort of anxiety. So maybe he's not leaving me high and dry after all. The fuck is he doing?
A hail from Tactical.
It's a reference. I hold up my phone. Flynn wants to talk to me, I think. Never straightforward with him, is it?
I don't know, kid. Still watched it, Astra.
What? Daxton's attention snaps so quickly to Mike, it's almost comical. I'll be right back. You can text Carl or something and ask if he wants to come in. I push myself up to stand, realizing my legs feel kind of weak. I hadn't noticed much at the time, but they were shaking earlier for something fierce. There's a no smoking sign hanging from the corner door. Little irony, I guess. With low breath and a straining of my shirt, I pull the handle and step inside. Is this where the to be continued happens? Oh no, it's just a room of sorts. My feet touch what feels like bare soil. With a quick check, I realize the doors are wood, just laden with a layer of dust, grime, and peanut shells. The smell of spilled beer, cigarettes, and sweat is a combination of likes I've never smelt stronger. Lights pulsate on and off at infrequent intervals. Everything goes from pitch black to lit up bright, and of course, there's not a window to be seen. I hear ambient voices around me. A decent amount of people are here, and most of them are completely naked! I turn, and Ryan's only a few feet from me, standing in the middle of the room with Casey. They're fucking. Flynn's next to them, his shirt open and belt undone. Behind them, gay porn plays on a crooked mounted television screen. Speakers and subwoofers rumble with the bassy drone of bizarre music. Silhouettes of people dance in a limp daze. The flickering lights make the shapes look like rag dolls flailing in stop motion. The lights begin to strobe red, and it's overpowering to the senses, too much to bear. I grab the end of my tail, squinting through actual smoke. Flynn? My voice comes out more, Flynn! more pathetic than intended. The music's so intense I can't tell if I'm being loud or quiet. Everything goes black again. I hear a clap and a cry, followed by a baritone voice.
This is what you want.
Whatever the hell that means. Did Flynn say that? There's a glint in the darkness, and I know it's Flynn's eyes. He's not looking at me. His eyes may be aimed in my general direction, yet he's not actually looking at me. But the guy behind him is. Oh, fuck yeah. Ryan cranes his neck some, looking towards me with that big old grin. His long tongue hangs out of the side of his maw. Oh, Jesus. He said, "Oh, Chase, come here. I've never been beckoned by a guy currently..." God. You have impeccable timing, always showing up during the worst times.
That's what I do.
I've never been beckoned by a guy currently balls deep inside someone else, so I'm pretty hesitant to obey. Flynn turns away from the duo, facing me. His expression sort of reminds me of how he got when his aunt was talking to him in City Hall. His eyes are a little more open than usual, and his jowls are pulled back along the side of his snout to show his teeth.
So, you showed up.
Flynn limply gestures to the surroundings right as Ryan bucks hard into Casey to elicit a loud moan. Casey curls her feet against Ryan's own, the only clothing still on their body being stripped, thigh-high fabric tights of some sort. Okay. Ryan, meanwhile, is still fully clothed, aside from his red prick sticking out from his fly, and into Casey. A small crowd as everyone's out now. During the worst possible fucking moment. This is why I need a goddamn office. A small crowd is gathered at the left side of the room around something. I can't make out what, but there's moaning in that direction as well.
It's a penis!
It's a penis! Now, we tried to find our friend. wound up in a secret gay orgy bar. We didn't know what that was gonna be.
If I ever lost one of my friends, that's probably where they'd be.
Flynn's attention seems solely on me despite everything happening around him. He's waiting on me to say something. I let go of my tail, taking a deep breath. Suddenly, Casey grabs Flynn's shirt, nearly yanking him over.
You know,
Flynn blinks, turning to speak briefly to the Fennec.
Just give me a minute.
Play it cool, or this is fucked. This is not a moment to be freaking the fuck out, but it's also not a moment to be abiding. So,
Freak the fuck out.
Play it cool.
thanks, guys! Most people are saying play it cool, so here we go. I dip my paws into my pocket, putting on the most lax posture I can manage. Wow, must be a slow night. Flynn's eyes widen, and then suddenly it, as if an enormous weight, really? Crackle in a bag walking by me. Gotta make it fucking as loud as possible. What the fuck is this? Okay, why'd you give me one?
I'm gonna stuff one in your pillow.
What?
We'll make a nice cold pillow when you go to bed.
Not laying on them makes them cold.
Listen, I'm trying to do something nice.
But it doesn't make sense, so I don't feel any obligation to not ridicule it. Flynn's eyes widen, and then suddenly, as if an enormous weight falls from his shoulders, a rare yet familiar wry smile crosses his muzzle. He turns back to me and saunters over, his heavy footfalls making the wood creak with each step. He places an elbow on my shoulder and moves to stand next to me.
You can't keep your nose in your own business, you know that.
Well, I am a journalist.
you two gonna leave me hanging over here with this?
Ryan rests his heavy chin on the cooing Casey's shoulder, but giving Flynn and I puppy eyes even as he bounces Casey on his crotch.
You look like you got it covered.
So you did leave that phone out for me to find it. Flynn rolls his head some, as if debating speaking further. Finally, he looks back down to me.
Didn't expect you to bring my fucking roommate. That was awkward as shit. Now I gotta deal with the fallout of all this when I get home.
You're the one that accused him of watching you masturbate after making out in front of us.
I'm pretty fucking sure he did, or at least someone was.
He doesn't seem like that kind of person to do that.
And you never struck me as the sort of person who would be this cool with hanging around a fuck shop like this.
We lean our backs against one of the walls near the entrance. Looking around, I noticed that the clientele seemed to mainly fall within two groups. Fennec natives and middle-aged men. Most of them look like generic dads, which makes Flynn's presence here all the more strange. What the hell even is this place, Flynn? I feel the Gila's weight shift against me as he shrugs.
Tits if I know, some fucking something though, ain't it? It's real.
There's a flicker of a grin on Flynn's face before the lights come back on. It's, real something, alright?
Brian showed me a long while ago. It was so fucking gross. There was like 4 old-ass beavers with balls down to the knees running in the corner.
And you came back?
Alright, this ain't fucking Ritz.
Alright.
See what I mean? You always show up during the worst fucking moments.
Alright, this ain't fucking ritzy-ass Pueblo where there's 12 gay bars within 10 miles equipped with cheap beer and blowjob dispensers. You get bored.
And lonely? Flynn grunts, and I feel his weight on my shoulder intensify some. So Ryan's your... friend? Flynn fidgets. The music gets loud for a moment, so we don't speak.
He's the friend that's not going to be leaving in 3 days, so he's the friend.
A pang hits my chest as the reality of our situation dawns on me. I go quiet.
I thought, fuck it, might as well get all the baggage out and show you what I'm apparently all about and shit.
You're all about seedy sex clubs?
Well, it's just, I can't exactly go telling anyone else in the group about this shit. Oh yeah, Jenna, I was at the bar off the res and fucking some of your people the other night. How you doing?
I find myself snickering, though coughing a bit from the smoke. The people smoking inside and the lack of adequate ventilation making my eyes water. God, she's already furious at you. TJ, do you know what sounding is? Because me and this bull guy did it last week and he had a cross necklace. Reminded me of you. I laugh again, covering my crotch instinctively. No way, you don't actually do that, do you? Large Gila harumps. I wasn't the one getting it on in my dick, so if that was what you were asking, I'm a lizard. We don't got big urethras. That's disgusting. Flynn chitters a bit to himself. He doesn't usually laugh at his own jokes, and his tone is actually a bit sheepish. So that's where my missing handheld stylist went. Nah, that was probably Carl. I used one of your parents' cantaloupes for getting off back in junior high, though. Don't remember if I threw it away or not. Again, that wry smile resurfaces. I can't say I've ever seen Flynn so damn beamy. I'm aghast, unsure whether he's being serious or not, although I might as well counter him. You sure it wasn't one of the cucumbers? No, they weren't big enough for me. To my surprise, he reaches down and pats the front of my crotch, actually squeezing at the end. I have to bite my tongue to keep from letting out an eep. His large hand kneads the front of my shorts, and I can feel his thumb and forefinger start to fiddle with the button on the front. He's breathing heavy, the 6'7" lizard having to hunch down to brush his muzzle against my ear. I thought you said we weren't going to do this anymore. Well, musk shit, that was before you tracked me down halfway across the desert. That's a beyond thirst sort of situation. I'm real glad I was right about you. He closes his eyes, smelling my head fur. Leo used to do that. Okay, so we got let's do this, or this is too weird. Wonder what happens if we say it's too weird. I'm real glad I was right about you. The words ring in my head over and over again as I feel the Gio's breath against my scalp. I stare ahead. There's another equine at the other end of the room. His cack's out. It hangs down nearly to his knees. Below him is another fennec. The guy looks to be about my age. He even has a little bit of chin beard scruff going on. The fox is on his knees, the horse rubbing the flared end of his cheek, matting the golden fur with his brachem. There's a little end table next to the fox, and even with the low light, I see the white lines on the surface. Despite the Goliath in front of him, he seems more interested in what's going on the table. I see him move his head over, and when he leans back, the lines are gone. The horse chuckles in a strange, high-pitched whinny. He pushes the guy's head forward, and half of his cork disappears down his throat. I hear the sound of a jingling belt beside me and unzipping, then something warm against my waist. I'm not paying attention to that, though. The horse takes the fennec by the big ears and yanks them back and forth. Fox audibly irks and gags, his legs beginning to quiver beneath him. Slobber splatters to the floor. It feels like minutes pass and the horse isn't relenting. Flynn mumbles something to me, but I'm not paying attention. The lights flick on, and through the haze I see the fennec's nose splattered red and some scarlet smear coating the equine's shaft. The horse whinnies again. My heart lurches. I need to get out of here. Flynn's looking at me curiously, his edged brow furrowed. Sorry. What? I can't, man. I turn, pulling from Flynn's side and head towards the door. The peanut shells and ash sticks onto the bottom of my feet as I move. Chase, oh, fuck. He pushes himself back into his pants, taking a few steps before coming to a stop. I can already see Ryan beckoning him over. He's got Casey on their hands and knees with that same ever-present grin on his face. Flynn looks back at me, his expression seeming to go blank before slowly hardening into a dull-eyed stare. Without another word, he turns away from me and joins the duo. Damn, this is fucked up. As much as we're like trying to support Flynn and shit, like this ain't good. This isn't a good. This isn't a good. So thank you for watching this really kind of fucking weird episode of Echo. On the next one, we'll see what happens. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, until the next update, I have been the trained unprofessional, speaking for the voices in my head when I say, fare thee well. Bye, everyone!